Some people are not going to like this video. Some people are not gonna like this video. Some people, wow, this is so offbeat. My edges are not going to last this whole video, but that's fine. Hi guys, my name is Chantal and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be half my unpopular opinion, half facts. And here's my disclaimer. I want you guys to watch this video from beginning to end and just start with an open mind and hopefully remain open-minded until the end, and then we can discuss everything in the comment section down below. Let's get to it. So as you probably can tell by the title, today's video is all about black hair, black natural hair in the black community and the stigma around it, the problems and issues that we face, and the conditioning when it comes to the standards of beauty that us as black women have to live up to, and how that sometimes can really shape our identity and how we look at each other and ourselves. So this video has been a long time coming. I've been wanting to film this video for probably years, no lie. I started my natural hair journey in 2011 or 12, and then a big chapter a year after that, and then I've been natural ever since. So yes, this is all my hair, and I have made videos in the past about my natural hair and my regimen, my routine, and tips and tricks on how I grew my hair from my own personal experience. So that's one, and I just realized that I couldn't procrastinate on this anymore because this is an important conversation to be had. I know that everyone is not going to agree with my opinion, with what is talked about in this video, and that's fine. That's why I'm making this video, so I can finally just get all my thoughts out and so we can start the discussion, because like I said, this is an important topic and I feel like I have a lot to contribute to the conversation and the topic at hand. Third, there were a few recent events that really pushed me to really talk about this topic. One was the Briana Monique situation. I'll start with that. So Briana Monique is a influencer, beauty lifestyle influencer here on YouTube. She has a pretty big following. She has a lot of subscribers on YouTube, and she also has a lot on Instagram. She is biracial, and she recently posted a vlog on her YouTube channel, and I didn't watch the complete video because she did take it down after what happened and then re-uploaded it without the section that I'm talking about, but I will try to insert it here. So if you haven't seen it before, or if you just need a refresher, then here's the opportunity.
My mom is black, so she really has, I was blessed with my texture and type of hair. My mom actually really has African American hair. Don't take this the wrong way. Sis, my mama got naps, okay? And she be struggling trying to find the right products for her hair because she is natural. She's always like, you're just so lucky. Don't be complaining about your hair. I don't be complaining about my hair because I don't do much to it. But I will say I am super blessed when it comes to my hair texture, because I be seeing my mama do her hair and oh my gosh, if I was her, I would have done the same thing and cut it all off.
She is a biracial girl, and in the vlog she was talking about black hair products, and then she was saying that she was blessed to have the texture that she has because her mother, which is black, has African American hair, and she struggles with her hair because her hair has naps or it's nappy, and how her mom always tells her how lucky she is to have her texture, because her mom cannot deal with her own texture, and she always complains about that. And when I watched this video, like, hold up, no, no, that is not okay, because we can't be having this negative connotation when it comes to black hair and the word nappy. Like, that is not okay. And I feel like nappy, yes, we have owned that word for ourselves in the black community, but it still has a bad stigma to it. And I don't like, especially when black people say it, but especially when non-black people say it. And to make matters worse, in the video she was like, don't take this the wrong way, don't take this the wrong way, before she spoke about her being blessed and then her mom's situation. And I was just like, you wouldn't say not to take it the wrong way if you felt like people were gonna take it the right way. And you obviously felt like there was no problem saying that because you edited that vlog that's probably like over 30 minutes and you uploaded it on YouTube. That is a process. You've seen that clip multiple times and you still uploaded it and just thought that people would not call you out on it. Like, I felt like she knew what she said, but I felt like it brought light on the situation and how biracial people, biracial people are not black. After she was getting backlash, she posted an apology on her YouTube, but I feel like it would have been better if she posted that apology as a video, just like she posted that vlog where she said those stuff, and also posted it on her Instagram, because I noticed that after she was getting the backlash and when that started, she disabled comments on her Instagram posts. And I was just like, you're just running from the truth. And in the apology, it was pretty standard. She did take accountability for what she said and acknowledging that she needed to be more educated on black hair and the proper terms so that it can empower black women instead of making them feel less than. But still, I just felt like that was not a good look, but it also showed her true colors when it comes to how she felt about black hair. And I just thought that it was really bizarre that her mom encouraged this negative way of thinking about her hair and black hair by saying that she was so blessed and lucky to have a different curl pattern. So that was one of the things that really stood out to me and really pushed me to make this video. Another thing that pushed me to make this video was the whole conversation with Too Short and Saweetie, because I was just like, if you haven't seen that clip of their interview or whatever it was, Instagram Live, I'll try to insert the clip here.
Was something, and they would get mad, but in the Bay, you could meet a girl before you can say her name, be like, hey, what you mixed with? And she'd probably tell you that her mama's this, her daddy's that, and mixed heritage women have always been my favorite. Like, I don't think I've ever fallen in love with a woman that wasn't mixed.
Really?
And the debate did that to me.
Really?
Because it's something you get, I feel like that way about life too. Like biracial babies are, you could take the two ugliest from different races and make a baby, and that baby just be beautiful. It happens all the time. It's laughing, but it's true.
Just like, this just further proves the point that us as black people, black women and black men, have so much work to do when it comes to just releasing ourselves from the grip of these Eurocentric beauty standards that are put on us, that we have been conditioned to believe is much more prettier and more esteemed to have than our black features, which is not even the case. And I feel like there is a lot of fetishizing of these Eurocentric features that black people don't have, especially by black men. Like in hip hop and rap, like it's very, very evident how these black men feel about us, and how they prefer a light skin, a red bone, kind of a woman than a typical standard black woman. And then it's kind of funny because I'm just like, now the whole trend is to have these kind of black features, bigger lips, fuller lips, wider hips, a more like curvaceous shape. And that's why I feel like the whole BBL epidemic is going on. But it's just so funny how things are changing, but they're also still the same. And black women always get the shorter end of the stick every single time. It never fails. So, oh, and then thirdly, there was a Twitter debate going on one day that I caught on, and it kind of sort of went viral, and I'll insert a screenshot of it here. But it was basically black women saying how they hated their natural hair and how they use wigs and weaves because their hair is unmanageable and they don't know what to do with it, and they say that wearing wigs and weaves are not an excuse to hide their natural hair. It's just because it's easier that way. And I was very, very pleased to see a lot of black women saying no, that's just an excuse. We're in 2021 and there's so many resources that you can use to really help educate you on your own hair from other black women who have mastered their routine and have grown healthy natural hair. And it just made me think like, wow, that there is so much colorism and texturism in the black community, and this needs to be talked about more. I know it's been talked about a lot, but I just came to the conclusion that even though the whole natural hair movement has happened, that black women still don't feel beautiful enough to embrace their own natural hair. There is a deep-rooted struggle within a lot of black women, a lot of black men, when it comes to the hair that grows out of our scalp and the features that we naturally possess that make us who we are. And as you can see, I have long natural hair, and growing up, even before I got my relaxer, my hair was really long and thick, and I loved it. And I had to beg for a relaxer, and now that I've gone back to natural, I've grown my hair so long, people always ask me, Chantel, like, wow, your hair is so long, like, what do you do? And I tell them what I do, step by step, product by product. There's been times when I literally take out a piece of paper and I write down every single thing and I give it to them. And they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And then I talk to them in like a few weeks, a month, a few months, and I'm like, oh, how's it going? Like, did you try the products up? They're like, no, that was too much for me. Like, I could not do. And I'm like, make it make sense, sis. Like, you have to put in the work. I feel like so many of black women have so much work to do mentally, emotionally, to really overcome this kind of burden we feel when it comes to our natural hair. So, to put a long story short, today's video is going to be digging a bit deeper into black hair, colorism, texturism, and seeing if it's really a catalyst for how we feel today, and if black women love their natural hair, they're embracing it, or they're just using their natural hair as an excuse to assimilate to these European beauty standards. That was a mouthful. If you see me looking down, I am looking at my notes because I wanted this video to be very thorough, and I want to make sure that I have my receipts. So yeah. So I wrote down that we have been conditioned to believe that we are too much when it comes to how we act, dress, our demeanor, our curves, and especially our hair. And the self-hate has been successful. I remember growing up and reading 17 and Teen Vogue magazine and Glamour every month, saving up all my money so that I can buy these magazines and look at the beauty section, look at the fashion section. But I was mostly focused on the beauty section because I wanted my hair to look just like those models in the magazines. Like, their hair always seemed to be so light and flowy and effortless and have that beach waves, and that term beach waves always used to be used in magazines, and I'm just like, how can I get my hair to look like that? So I would buy all the products that they recommended. I would wash my hair with a shampoo. I would use my conditioner. I would use mousse to try to get those beachy waves. But after doing that for months, years on end, and this is with my relaxed hair, I noticed that my hair is not meant to look like that. Like, my hair is not gonna be having that beachy, wavy, effortless look unless I use a curling iron on my hair, which is adding heat to my hair, which compromises the health of my hair and the integrity of my hair, on top of me already getting a relaxer, which is a chemical, very, very chemical treatment to my hair to make it straight. And I was just like, what am I doing? Like, who am I doing this for? Am I doing this for me? Because I always enjoyed doing my own hair, and I did not relax my hair because I thought that my natural hair was ugly. I really relaxed my hair because I was tired of being the only natural hair girl in school. Like, all the black girls had relaxers. All the black girls at my church, in my age group, or like a little bit older, a little bit younger even, had relaxers, and I was just like, that seems so much easier than my natural hair. And I really fell to the pressure of wanting to relax my hair, even though I knew that it was going to be painful as hell. Like, it's very painful. If you're a black woman watching this, I'm sure you got some PTSD by me just mentioning that. And I was just like, who am I doing this for? So I really had to look internally and answer those questions for myself. Also, I feel like a very important part of this conversation is saying that, or recognizing, acknowledging, accepting that biracial women are not black women. Biracial women are not the spokesperson for black women because they are not black. Biracial means coming from two different races. Okay? Black means both parents are black. So I feel like even in media, or even in those magazines that I mentioned, if I saw a black girl, she was most likely biracial, and that's why she was able to be the exception to this rule of beauty, and to have her hair being able to be manipulated in a way to create that kind of beach wave look. And I feel like a lot of, like I said, a lot of black men, or a lot of black women too, we have been conditioned to feel like we need to date outside our race because we want to have pretty babies. And I am not going to lie, I fell into that kind of mindset when I was younger, until I realized that, hold up, being with a black man would be so much more powerful. We always hear rappers talking about how they like their women exotic. Like, we all know that Lil Wayne line, I like a long hair, thick red bone. He always talks about red bones in his songs. And Chris Brown is another one. He mentions light-skinned women a lot. And I remember that he's been under fire a few times when it comes to his discrimination against dark-skinned women. I remember when a dark-skinned woman spoke out about her experience with Chris Brown and not being able to have access to the VIP section where people that she knew was at because he didn't want a dark-skinned woman there. And I'm just like, a lot of black women are so used to not being chosen first because black men don't even choose their own. And it's just sad to see, and I feel like it's been normalized in hip-hop and rap black culture. And half of me, I don't even blame black women to feel like they need to compromise and alter their looks so that they can be more socially accepted, because the pressure is real, because we've been conditioned and the self-hate has been real. Like even in the workplace we have been discriminated against when it comes to our hair. I personally haven't been affected by that because I usually wear my hair in buns in interviews, but I know people who have had locks and they've been asked what they're gonna do about that if they get hired. Or little kids in school being teased and ridiculed and by their peers, or even teachers, adults in that environment, because they have thick hair. Their hair doesn't look the same as other kids, and it's really sad. But I still have hope because I know in California they passed a bill that stops the discrimination against black hair, black natural hair. And I feel like that's a step in the right direction because we do need support, because I feel like even though black people have been conditioned to think like this, other races, including biracial people, think the way they do because they also have been conditioned as well. And us as black people, we don't really stand up enough when it comes to defending our features, defending our beauty, and embracing it. And I feel like that's part of the problem as well. So let's talk about the different ways that us black people have manipulated our hair to really keep up with trends and just try to assimilate and be more socially accepted. So this is before my time, but I want to mention it, the Jerry curl. The Jerry curl was a chemical treatment that you would do to your hair to make it really look like that curly, wet look. I'm so glad that I was not around during that time. People just looked wet, like their hair looked wet. It looked like it could start dripping any second. But I understand that's what was in then. And then came, I don't know which one came first, but there were texturizers and relaxers. I've never had a texturizer on my hair, but I definitely got a relaxer like I mentioned earlier. I got my relaxer in middle school, and I will never forget the day that I did it. After begging my mom, I went to go get it done, and when I left the hair salon, my hair was like this short, and my ends were bumped. My black girls know. And my family and friends could not believe it. They're like, where did all your hair go? Like, where did it go? And I'm just like, she said I had to cut it. So I was just going blindly with what the stylist said, the hairstylist said. My hair did eventually grow, and I was able to grow it long while it being relaxed. But to just be relaxed and go through the motions of having relaxed hair and the chemical burns, oh my gosh, like, ooh, I can kind of feel it now just thinking about it, because those chemical burns that end up as scabs on your scalp, and then you do like your first fresh wrap after your relaxer and your hair is stuck to the scabs, and then you have to wait for the scabs to just like get peeled away. Oh my gosh, like the things that we do, like they say pain is beauty, but damn, that was so traumatic sometimes. And then I was just thinking while I was brainstorming, writing my notes for this video, And I just remembered, even us relaxed girls, we were scared to get our hair wet. We didn't want our hair to get wet because we thought it would revert our hair back to its natural state. And we would always be running from the rain, like all the time. And I'm just like, that is no way to live. Like, why did I have to go through all of that just to feel like I'm accepted and part of the crowd and part of the majority, and thinking that that would make me feel beautiful? And I did feel beautiful then, but to just look back and feel like, why did I do that? But I understand it now. It was part of my life. I accepted it and I moved on, thankfully. But that was just so painful. Then let's talk about it. Going to Dominicans for a wash and set. I'm from New York. Wash and sets were part of life, okay? I'm from the Bronx. Wash and sets were like a every other week thing. I would always look forward to my wash and sets because I knew that that Dominican blow dryer was gonna get my hair so straight after washing it. Oh my gosh, they didn't wash my hair, well, meaning my scalp, that good, but to leave that hair salon with my hair bouncing and flowy, or just wrapped to the T, or pin curl to the T, I knew the next day I would be looking good. But there were downsides to that, because that's another thing. Other races, even though they aren't blackity black, Dominicans, they are very close to black people. Half, if not all of them, are black, but they really emphasize their European, their Spanish side. And I feel like I'm not Dominican, I'm not Spanish, Hispanic, Latina, so I can't really talk for them, but I have noticed as I've gotten older and becoming more aware on this topic that they too have a lot of obstacles psychologically that they have to overcome when it comes to claiming their blackness, and instead of just ignoring it. I remember going to the Dominicans and multiple times, and while I was relaxed, but I never went there for a relaxer. I always went to a black hairstylist, but I would go to Dominicans bi-weekly between my relaxers to get my hair washed and blown out. So when it came to that time where I had a lot of new growth on my scalp, which is my curly natural hair growing out, and I was due for a relaxer, they would tell me multiple times like, oh mommy, you need to get a relaxer, like your hair is too thick. And I'll be like, isn't thick hair good? Like, do you want me to have thin hair that's like breaking off? Like what? Like, and your blow dryer is hot as hell, so I know it's going to deal with those roots like effortlessly. Like, what is the issue? I know a lot of people have had horror stories going to Dominicans putting relaxer in the shampoo and conditioner without telling them, and then their hair being straight at the end. And I just feel like it's just been so many ways, so much things that we have put ourselves through to really assimilate to this kind of self-image that is far from who we are. I never got a texturizer, but I know that some people Texalax. If you're not familiar with texturizer, it's a good in-between getting a relaxer, which permanently straightens your hair chemically, and embracing your natural hair. So it doesn't completely get rid of your curly hair, but it does make it more looser curls than the kinky kind of coily natural hair that most people have, so that it's more manageable, but you still have that kind of curly look. So that's like a texturizer. But I know that some people Texalax, and I looked it up to make sure that I was using the right term and the right definition. So I found this definition on curlynikki.com. She is an OG in the natural hair community, so I'm gonna take what she says as a Bible. I always have, and her website has helped me a lot in my journey. So she says that textlaxing means applying a relaxer to your hair and intentionally under processing it by leaving it on for a recommended time. A texturizer is formulated slightly different than a relaxer and is therefore considered a mild relaxer. It also loosens the curl pattern without completely straightening the hair. So yeah, basically what I said. So that's another option. So there was Jerry curl, relaxer, texlax, and then I know that some people also heat train their hair. So instead of adding a chemical like a texturizer or a relaxer to their hair, they intentionally use heat to train their hair to be straight. So it's kind of basically like giving their hair heat damage, but intentionally, because our hair is naturally not straight. So they basically have to break down the bonds on your hair follicle, break them down a bit, but not all the way, so that it can be straight. And then in addition to that, the last kind of option is just accepting that you have heat damage, because this is with women that don't wear their natural hair out as much, but they have leave out to help blend their natural hair with the wig or sew-and weave that they use. And to maintain that kind of look, you do have to use heat on your hair, an excessive amount, so that most likely results in heat damage, and then you just accept it as is, because it's not like you're gonna wear your hair in its natural state anyway. So these are all ways to alter your hair, alter your appearance, alter your self-image, and I really want us to be very honest with ourselves about why we did it. You don't have to tell me. Just pause this video and ask myself, why did I do these things? Why? Instead of just wearing the hair that naturally comes out my scalp. Why? Why did I feel like I need to do this? Who was I doing this for? And was the pain is beauty worth all the pain that I went through? Like, was it really? Was I happy? Did I feel good looking in the mirror? Like, how much money would I have saved if I didn't do this? Or do I have no regrets at all and just accept it as a phase in my life, and I know better, do better now? Okay, so now that we talked about manipulating your own hair, now we're gonna go to adding extra hair to our own hair as another way to assimilate or alter this kind of self-image we have for ourselves. So with me, when I'm a 93 baby, so I was still a 90s baby, and I'm so happy that I got to experience that part of Black culture, especially being from the Bronx, living in New York City. It was amazing. So when I was growing up, you were either completely natural, you were doing one of those options, text relax or relaxer, and on occasion you would get a sew and weave. And sew and weaves, like, they were not as popular, but you would like wear them on special occasion. When someone got a sew-in, you knew they were going places. They had people to see, okay? And I remember getting my first sew-in weave of my Indian Remy, and I bought it at the Beauty Supply store for my high school prom. And girl, the way that they braided down my hair for it, I had headaches for days. I had headaches for days because it was so fucking tight. It was so tight, and then to add on the tracks, to literally sew in the tracks into my really tight ass cornrows underneath. Oh, it was so painful, but I was looking good, girl. I felt Like, I'm gonna be honest, I felt a boost of confidence. Like, I had a boost of confidence, and your girl was feeling herself. And I still look back at my prom pictures and be like, bitch, you did that. You did that. Best dress. That was the beginning of me experiencing this different world outside of my relaxer. That gave me another option to really switch up my look and style, and I loved it. I loved it. And back then there was only Indian Remy, and you had Brazilian hair, and then you had Malaysian hair, which is like the curly hair that you would like wet and then it'll get curly. Those were the only three. That was it. That was it when it came to the hair. And they were expensive as hell. Like, one bundle was probably like $60, $70. Back then, that was a lot of money. And you either had the choice of getting a sew-in weave with leave out on the top to blend your own hair, or you can do like a U-part wig. So you would either sew on the tracks in on a wig cap, or glue the tracks on a wig cap, and then it'll literally be like a U, and then your leave out would be here to blend it. Those were your options, and that was such a great time to be alive, because yeah, there were OGs on YouTube, OG black hairstylists that were about that life, and they could slay some hair, okay? There was Malibu Dollface, there was Ivy, there was Miss Rosh Posh, there's a few others, but they were killing it, and they really inspired me to really switch up my look, because I was also getting into makeup during that time, and it was just a great outlook for me to really express how I wanted to feel and look that day. So I want you guys to understand that I am not looking down on any of these methods that alter our hair, because I feel like it's part of the black culture, and we have really leveled up our game when it comes to these alternative methods. But all I'm saying is that should be a balance between doing that and embracing and wearing your own natural hair out. And I feel like the lines have been blurred because the methods have advanced so much that we use them as a crutch instead of using them as something that we can do every now and then. So let's talk about the natural hair movement. So a natural hair movement, for me, I would say it started like 2008, 2009, maybe 2007, but I personally got into it around 2008, 9 I should say. And I learned about it through YouTube. Like, they were the OG natural hair YouTubers. I loved being a part of that movement. It really inspired me and empowered me to really go back to my natural hair, because like I said, I would always have to go through the motion of getting a relaxer, getting the chemical burns, scabs on my hair, being afraid to get my hair wet, trying these other products to really make my hair look like something that it wasn't supposed to look like naturally, going to the Dominicans for a blowout, and just always putting myself through all these hurdles to have straight hair, basically. So the natural hair movement was a breath of fresh air, because I was always thinking about going back natural, but I didn't feel the support. And I feel like the natural hair movement, it started as something very low-key and with like a small community, but then it blew up and it became like its own thing on its own, and it really empowered a lot of black women to ditch the relaxer, ditch the creamy crack, ditch the wigs and sew-in weaves, and actually take care of their hair, actually get to become educated about their hair, and build a routine that would give them the ability to grow naturally long, healthy, thick hair. And I feel like a big part of it was just accepting that our hair is thick and it can be coarse, but it's also ours. It's so unique. It can be molded so many different ways, and it also broke the stigma that black girls can't grow their hair long, because when I was growing up, when I had natural hair, when I had relaxer, people would be like, wow, that's all yours? And I'd be like, yeah, that's not all yours. Like, I thought everyone's hair was was that long. I feel like natural hair community just built a community for black women to ask questions and get tips and tricks from each other, and just be like, this is my hair and I'm owning it, and I feel beautiful owning it, and not feeling the pressure of not having to succumb to all these beauty standards. And I love that time. But like I said, everything has its downside. That downside, with that came a lot of things. When I wanted to transitioning was so tough, and I feel like that's where you need the support the most, because I'm not gonna lie, you go through an ugly stage when you're transitioning, because you have your straight, relaxed, chemically straightened ends, and then you have the new growth that's growing in. And the more new growth that grows in, the more difficult it gets to really blend those two textures to really create a style that your hair will look good in with those two textures. On top of that, the line of demarcation where your natural hair is growing and the relaxed hair is, where they meet, that is a very, very fragile part on your hair. It's prone to breakage, and if you're not careful, if you don't have a regimen and you're not consistent with it, your hair will break off. The first 2 times I tried to transition natural, my hair broke off. It was so bad, and I really admired the women that just big chopped, cut off all the relaxed ends off, and just rocked their TWA, their tiny weenie afro. It was so beautiful to go somewhere and all I would see is afros, like froze everywhere, curly hair everywhere. It was just so beautiful. Like, however, everything has its downside. So a downside is, there's a few. One was that a woman felt like they had to follow an influencer's regimen to the T, or their hair wouldn't grow or look the way that the influencer's hair looked. Another one was that the curl types. A lot of people were religious to their curl types and the curl patterns, and the first question that you'll be asked by a natural person when you're meeting them is like, what's your curl pattern? What's your curl type? It was just too much, because I realized that porosity is actually more important than curl types, because your curl type is just how your hair grows, but your porosity is how your hair stays moisturized and gets moisturized, and that's more important than the kind of curls you have, because if your hair is dry, it doesn't really matter. Another thing was the products. So many brands were coming out. Shea Moisture was thriving then, Cantu was thriving then, Miss Jessie's was thriving then, TGIN, Owen, Handmade, Eden Body Works, those kind of companies were starting, and they had products for natural hair. They catered to natural hair. Jane Carter. And then when your favorite influencer, natural hair influencer, would talk about a new product, most likely because they got sponsored or just because they were like very enthusiastic about natural hair, they would just buy everything, then you feel like you have to buy those things. And if it didn't work for you, then what would you do? You would just keep the product and buy some more. And people became product junkies. Like, I still have my bin that I need to like throw out, and I don't look through anymore because it's years old product. But people just ended up buying and hoarding all these products, which was crazy. And another downside I can see is that when it came to the representation in the media, we're lighter skinned and had the looser curl pattern, curl type. and they were the ones that were placed in the forefront of the natural hair movement. And I felt like that was a big, huge injustice for Black women, because most Black women are not like that. They are darker skin, their hair is more coily than wavy or curly, and some of the most women, they have type 4 hair, so it's more coarse, it's more dense, and I feel like they couldn't relate to that kind of woman that the media was trying to push for this natural hair movement. I feel like the media kind of took over. Oh, Carol's Daughter was also a big one, a big brand, but I feel like the media kind of took over because they saw that it was a big deal, and we all know that Black women are a huge percentage of the market and the money that goes around in this economy. So I feel like it was kind of hijacked by bigger corporations. I'm not biased. I know everything has its ups and downs, everything has its pros and cons, but I'm still gonna ride for natural hair to the end. You feel me? This one is a tough one because we forget how much our Black hair was held in such a high esteem and praised way back then. Like, I'm talking about before slavery. Us Black people, we knew that our hair was an extension. There's a reason why we call it the crown. Like, because it's part of our crown chakra, and it's full of electricity, and it collects information from all the vibrations and the energy around us. Our hair is part of our identity, it's part of our DNA. We have Black hair because of the melanin in our DNA. And even if you're religious, if you're Christian, you know about the story of Solomon and how he had really long hair, he was really strong, and then when Delilah cut off his hair, he became very weak, and he just wasn't seen as the strong person, the strong protector of his people anymore. And that's all to show that our Black hair is so much more powerful than we give it credit for. And even in slavery times, when we used our hair to express ourselves, we used our hair to even like have cornrows to create maps, to really talk to each other, help each other escape from the perils of slavery. And I just look back and like, how would our ancestors feel now that we are just hiding our hair, not taking care of it, not caring about taking care of it? It's just really sad. And when it comes to culture appropriation, we're always yelling at non-Black people when they cornrow their hair and when they get box braids, as we should. But on the other hand, I'm just like, most of us don't do it. Most of us hide behind wigs and weaves. Like, how can we really be all hot and heavy and angry to other people when we don't even embrace our own? Like, a big one is Kim Kardashian, the whole Kardashian Jenner clan. They be rocking cornrows and not giving a fuck, and we continuously call them out on it, and obviously they're gonna keep doing it. Another one is Nikita Dragon. She has really, I think she thrives, well, I don't think, I know she thrives off of bad publicity because she knows that will put her name out there. But yeah, she rocks cornrows and she had box braids. Another thing is just white people in general getting dreads, or I should say getting locks. And I'm just like, your hair, if your hair is not Black, your hair is not made to do these styles. And I've heard people who are non-Black who try these styles, and they talk about how much their hair breaks off and gets damaged after. And I'm just like, yeah, because it's not made for you. Our Black hair is so unique that even the coarseness of our hair helps us mold our hair in these different styles, like braids, cornrows, and our hair literally grows up. It defies gravity, like as opposed to non-black hair that grows kind of down and it's weighed down. Like our hair grows up. It wants to grow towards the sun. It wants to really breathe and live and just flow, you know. And we restrict ourselves a lot when it comes to that. We always want to tame it. We always want to manipulate it to make it look straight. We always want to put a wig on top of it and not take care of our hair underneath at the same time. And I'm just like, we have to do better. We really have to do better, because our hair is too powerful for us to neglect it. Our hair is too powerful for us to neglect it like this. Like, we cannot be doing that anymore. Another thing I want to talk about when it comes to embracing our natural hair and its natural texture is baby hairs. I tried to lay mine a little. I'm not a baby hair layer professional. I'm really not. I never tried to be. That's why I loved when Beyonce had that line. I forgot what song it is, but she was like how she's gonna make her edges frizzle up or something like that. I love that, because I was just like, we even feel pressure to lay our edges, and our hair is not meant to be laid like that. Like, the only way my hair lays like that is if my hair is straight like this. And even like if it was straighter, it would lay better. But if I have my natural hair out and I try to lay my edges, and then I have to like tie it down, I have to use gel, all this work for it to not even last more than like 2 hours. What was the reason? What was the reason? Why am I laying my edges down? For who? For who, when my hair is telling me no? And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Like, even with the lace fronts, now that we're in the lace front era, I'm like, what is this? What is this? Like, some of the baby hairs be looking crazy. Like, the baby hairs be touching your eyebrow. I'm like, does their natural hair do that? Does their natural hair do that? I doubt it. I doubt it. We need to stop. We need to stop. I'm not against, like, you have a polished look or you want to switch it up sometimes and put a little extra time and effort into your baby hairs and making sure your hair is laid back. And yes, I know that it looks polished sometimes, it adds to the look, but to do it all day, every day, like, no, you look crazy. That's not realistic, okay? It's not. It's not, boo. It's not. I feel like the term good hair came about in the natural hair community around the time of the boom of the natural hair movement. What really pushed that narrative was when we saw the separation of the different curl patterns, the curl types, and how looser textures were really focused on more than the majority of women who had thicker, kinkier, coilier, coarser, denser, more natural hair. And I remember, was it Chris Rock that came up with the movie Good Hair? And I think that that was a good documentary because it really spoke about a lot of things that I spoke about during this video. I definitely say to rewatch it if you haven't. All my life I have been told that I had good hair just because my hair was long. It always was long and it was always thick, and I just knew how to deal with my hair. And I feel like the term good hair is very, very evident in Black families. I was always told by my great-grandmother, other members of my family, that I was the one that had good hair. I did catch on after a while, and I was just like, what is good hair really? And I really had to not get caught up in, even though I was the person that could have been praised in that particular situation, I had to really humble myself and be like, all Black hair is good hair. And I am looked at as having good hair because I take care of my hair. Everyone can have good hair if they take care of it, but I do understand that in Black households, a lot of us compare each other to ourselves. We can even be ridiculed by the older generation with how we look. Like, weight is a big thing in the Black community. Like, you gain a few pounds, or even if it's a significant amount of weight, and instead of people just ignoring it and continuing to have their relationship with you, they will bring it up in a condescending way. And I feel like hair was the same thing. So a lot of women don't feel comfortable even having their own hair out around family, which is so sad. It really made me remember the whole T.I.'s daughter. I don't want to butcher her name, but she posted on Twitter how she felt like she didn't have the good hair, good natural hair, that she had like her father's black hair instead of her mother's more acceptable, socially acceptable, more manageable hair. And it just made me feel so sad, because I feel so sad for the younger generation of Black women coming up, because they have social media now, and all we are seeing is just all women looking the same. They have the same kind of shape because of BBLs. They have extensions. They're really sexualized, and of course we will feel the pressure to have that kind of look too, and act that particular way, since we see it being praised so much by other people, by the majority, by the public, and even our own Black men. I remember when I was transitioning to going natural, and the Black people in my class, they called me Harriet Tubman. It really hurt me, because I was just like, I'm trying to embrace myself, and why aren't you like coming in with open arms to embrace me, you know? And it's just so crazy, because the same people who were telling me not to go back natural because my hair was so long and relaxed, and because I had good hair, they were the same people that are coming to me now for advice when it comes to getting their hair healthy and long. And I would tell them what I do to my hair, and they would not do it. They wouldn't take the proper steps, the effort and the time to take care of their hair, so they would not be able to grow their hair long and have it healthy. And I feel like the whole basis of hair in the Black community is so deeply rooted in self-hate, and it's just so sad. I know that we have a lot of trauma in our Black communities because of everything that we've been through, and I feel like hair is also a big trauma that we have to heal from. It's a generational trauma that we have to heal from, and we have to decide for ourselves that we are going to be the one that breaks the cycle. Like, even when I have my nieces, one is biracial and one is fully Black, and I always tell my sisters, their mothers, like, just let their hair breathe. It's just, their hair doesn't have to be combed all the time. If they're home, just get their hair out of the ponytails, and even when they go out there, edges do not need to be laid. Like, when I see little kids, like babies, on social media and their edges are laid, I'm like, you already causing tension on the little baby's hair. Like, why are you doing that? Like, for who are you doing that for? And I feel like we need to take back control of our narrative when it comes to Black hair, and really embrace our own definition of beauty, and get back to those natural hair movement days where we're just like, F you if you have anything negative to say. I love me, I love myself, I love the way my hair grows. Another thing that people talk about is genetics. They're like, oh, well, you came from, like, your family is from so and so. Even people ask me if I'm mixed because I have this hair that I have. I'm just like, no, both the sides of my family are Black. They're from Jamaica. That's as far as I know, but I know that Jamaica was also colonized by Europe, and I know that also has its own effects, but I'm just like, why do we look at ourselves this way? I understand why, partly, but I'm just like, it's our time to take back control of our hair, control of what beauty means and the definition of beauty, and just be okay with being different. Like, being different is amazing. Black hair is not a trend. It is a part of us. It's part of our culture, and the more we embrace it, the more powerful that it will become. And the less people that are not black will can deny the power that it has. To be honest, I feel like genetics does play a role when it comes to your hair, but I feel like it's not an end-all be-all when it comes to how long you can grow your hair, because I would be lying if I told you that hair is not scientific. Hell yes, it is. Genetics is a big part of science, because it has so much power to create this kind of phenotype and narrative, shape it in your own way. That's why eugenics has been like a reoccurring topic when it comes to the past and even now. Genetics definitely plays a role, but I would not accept that as an excuse for someone's hair continuously being damaged and them not doing anything about it, and them not having a routine or taking care of their hair in general. I am the middle child of 3 girls. I have always been the one with the longest hair. My younger sister has a looser curl pattern than me, and she's never relaxed her hair, but she has heat trained it a lot, and now she's learning to ease up on that now. My older sister, she was relaxed just like me before me, and she is also back natural and learning to take care of her hair. And I feel like they could have been right where I am if they went through the whole experience that I've been through, if they had a steady routine and stuff like that. Not to shame my sisters, I love them. They're beautiful just the way that they are. They are my heart and soul. I feel like they're my soulmates in this life. But to just give an example of how we really are so critical of ourselves and of each other in the community, and how that needs to stop. It really does. And I feel like once we work on that, then we will become unstoppable. I feel like during the natural hair movement, the word nappy has been taken back. We've taken back control of that narrative, and we have embraced it. So that, yeah, I'm nappy and I'm proud. Like, for example, black hair OG here on YouTube, Naptural85. She rocks her natural hair, and she is a great channel if you need some information about natural hair, if you need some inspiration for hairstyles. And I feel like we should embrace that our hair is so thick and so coarse, because it's unique. Like all the other non-black races, their hair is not like us, nothing close to it. And I feel like we should embrace that, and we shouldn't feel like nappy is a bad thing. But I also understand when people are using the word nappy with the bad intentions. That is not acceptable at all. And let's also talk about this. Yes, I understand that our hair is different, so it does need to be protected, and we do need to give it a break every now and then, so that it can just rest and focus on growing instead of being manipulated constantly. But protective styles are meant to be used every few months, not 365. Protective styles are only helpful if you are wearing that protective style and then you allow your hair to breathe. Allowing your hair to breathe for a week or a few days is not enough. Allowing your hair to breathe means that you are washing it regularly, which is every 2 to 3 weeks, and you are deep conditioning it. Washing it and conditioning it is not enough. You have to deep condition it. You have to do protein treatments regularly. You have to trim your hair every few months. You know, those are just the basis. And I feel like when a lot of black women use an excuse of protective styling and they neglect their own natural hair underneath, it just proves that they actually just don't care about their natural hair, or they don't feel as confident, as beautiful wearing their natural hair out. Because if you did, then it would be the reverse. You wouldn't be depending on protective styles all the time. Black hair does take work. I'm not lying to you and being like, oh, you need to stop hiding between the wigs and weaves and just rock your natural hair. It's not that hard. Like, it takes work. I know. You see how much hair I have, right? I know it takes work. If you need some tips and tricks, I made a video all about my routine. I still use it to this day. Same thing. And look at the results. Look at the material. So I understand that you need a routine. You need to be consistent with that routine. And that's how you see results with your hair. If you are always putting your hair away and just forgetting about it and just going through so much to alter the way your hair looks or to just hide it, that is the problem. That is a problem, and you need to get back to loving yourself more. I'm sorry, but I'm not. Like, too many black women are hiding behind stuff that are not their truth, and I want us black women, I want more black women to free themselves from this bondage. Free yourself from the bondage. If you say that your hair is unmanageable, that's not an excuse anymore. If you don't know what products to use, that's not an excuse anymore. Okay? You know what an excuse is? If you have alopecia. I have psoriasis, I don't have alopecia, and it just makes me have to do a little bit more in my routine, but I've accepted it. I didn't allow it to stop me from taking care of my own hair because it was hard. Come on, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. You gotta take care of yourself, and it's an extension of yourself. Like how we gotta get our nails done, our toes done, our eyebrows waxed, our lashes done. You know, we have to take care of our own natural hair. It should just be like natural for us to want to do that. If you don't prioritize the hair that's coming out of your scalp, then it's not going to grow. Like, if you don't love your hair, take care of it, it's not gonna grow. So you'll just be in an endless cycle. Every time when someone sees my hair and see how long it is, how big it is, how voluptuous it is, how thick it is, they're like, oh, give me some. I was joking. I'm like, are you gonna take care of it if I gave it to you? Would you know what to do with all this hair? Would you? I doubt it. I doubt it. If I switch roles with you for a few days, for like a month, you wouldn't know what to do. You would want to give me my hair back. Like, let's be real. Let's be real, okay? And I'm coming from a place of love and experience because I worked at a natural hair salon for about 2 years, almost 2 years, and I was in charge of doing consultations with our first-time clients who've never been to the studio before. And when they come in, they feel so self-conscious when I ask to see their hair so I can examine it and get to know their hair better to recommend the proper services for them. They would always be so shy, or they would just show me and then soon they'll put their hoodie or their hat back on, and I'm just like, why? Like, what is the issue? And they would explain how unhappy they were with their own natural hair, and I always came down to a few things. One was that they didn't have a routine. They were trying too many products. They weren't consistent with their routine. They were wearing too many protective styles and not letting their own hair breathe. Or they just got a color randomly and just thought that they didn't have to add or do more to make sure that their hair was moisturized. It all comes down to hair health. hair education and just taking care of yourself. You have to take care of your crown. This is your crown. Like, it's an extension of yourself. It is your image that you're portraying to the world. And if you're confident with the image that you're showcasing, then people will be confident in you. People are not going to second guess you. People are not even going to think you're ugly. You know those people that are not that like the most beautiful person, but they're walking into the room with confidence. They're stepping with intention. They're talking with intention. They're not shy. They're not looking down. They're looking at you, having eye contact. Those people are confident. You forget about their looks. You're like, wow, I need to know more about this person. Like, they're attracting you to them because of their aura, because of their energy that they're putting out. That's how you should feel about your hair. And if you don't feel that way about your hair, that's just a sign that you need to do the work so you can. If it means to just look at YouTube videos and figure out a regimen, it doesn't have to be overcomplicated, trust me. But you have to be consistent with it. You have to be consistent and your hair will grow, because your hair naturally grows. Your hair is on a hair cycle, which means that it regularly grows and it sheds. But you can retain that length by the practices, the routines that you do. A lot of women feel like their hair isn't growing because they're not retaining the length. That's not the issue. It's what are you doing to retain the length, because the hair is going to grow. It's coming. Unless you have a hair disorder like alopecia or something like that, or psoriasis, where you have to like find a way to tweak some stuff. But generally, hair does grow. You just have to take care of it so that it can grow. I feel like once we work on that, then we will become unstoppable, and we will not have to rely on other people to define what beauty is to us. And how fucking powerful is that? It is so fucking powerful. I want all black women to know and believe, understand, but most believe in their heart that they are beautiful, that their features are beautiful, that their skin tone is beautiful, that the hair growing out their scalp is beautiful. It's unique and it's meant to be celebrated. Us black women, we are walking magic. We are magic. And we need to celebrate that more. We need to embrace ourselves more. We need to show up more for ourselves and each other and praise each other. And I also want to say that I know that there are black men. I've met a good amount of black men that just prefer all natural. They don't like the wigs and weaves. They don't like the makeup. That's another story. But I know that all men are not like these men in the media that prefer a mixed kind of phenotype. But I just want us to be there for each other more and know that our hair is part of ourselves, it's part of our identity, and it all starts with self-care and self-love, and that is a journey. It's a journey, but first you have to accept that you need to go on the journey. You need to accept that I have some things I need to work on, and what am I going to do to work on those things and get better and do what I need to do to look at myself in a better, brighter, more positive, uplifting, empowering way. So yeah, I think that concludes this video. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to comment them down below. I will be in the comment section just replying to people and just really doing my part in carrying this conversation further than just this one video. And if you enjoyed this video, please let me know down below too. Click the like button if you like this video. Share it to a fellow beautiful black woman so she can feel empowered about her hair. And don't forget to check out the recommendations. I think it's going to be on this side. Click the eye, or is it this side? I don't know. But click that. I would have recommended videos there, just talking about my own personal journey, my routine, products that I use. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it so much, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.